The mayor says, I'm insecure, is my word, being between the governor and the senator, but he does it for a living, and I don't do this, so I hope I can get through this. I do want to thank the governor for his kindness to ODU. Thank you. That helps. Every little bit helps. My wife Tammy and I are very happy to be here together. There's a cadre of our friends and acquaintances over here, and we're really touched that you made the trip. Thanks for being here, and my daughter. One of them just left, my friend the senator, who I've known for a long time, who, when governor, urged me to get re-engaged at ODU, appointed me to the board of trustees, and started the ball rolling to what today is now become the Strome School of Business. So ODU does owe a certain amount of gratitude to the senator, for making today possible, as does the very special part my late father played, who's now left this world, my dear mother, who brought me into this world, my favorite doctor out there somewhere who's kept me in this world, and my dear wife, who I share this world with, who's taught me about love and partnership, made me more conscious, and who's been a driving force for the Strome School. I've been asked why ODU. I came from a very small rural place, from a very small dairy farm, and ODU opened my eyes to the world. I can remember as a fairly new freshman, right over across Hampton Boulevard in Gresham Hall. One night there was a big gathering, a big crowd of people outside the dorms. This is in late 1974, and at that time I was introduced to a newly invented phenomena called streaking. Here I was standing in a stairwell with about 10 of my friends. We all stripped down and burst out the door butt naked, running at full speed through the crowd. And the only thing I had to guide me was the backside of a girl named Hannah. Once back inside, I thought to myself, I was getting my clothes on, and I thought, wow, welcome to the world. Alas, Hannah's not here today. But a few of my fellow streakers are here today, so they're going to give us a demonstration, so stand up. Sorry, they must be embarrassed, or maybe they just can't run anymore. But seriously, I have a story to tell you, which I think is much, much more revealing, about someone who's quite unremarkable, who came to ODU, and a mysterious ODU angel, who to this day remains a mystery. The Strome School has as its DNA an entrepreneurial foundation. My story starts with a very special and influential entrepreneur, my grandfather, Ralph Strome. Now, I know many of you are going to have a vision of Ralph creating this giant family empire, this iconic company, and that he became my inspiration because of that. But it's not quite so simple. You see, my grandfather started a small chicken farm in rural Ohio. In his mid-20s, to protect his chickens from chicken hawks, he bought a shotgun, kept it close to the kitchen door to ward off the hawks. One day, he saw the hawks circling, ran into his kitchen, grabbed his gun, loaded it, ran out into the field, probably looking up at the chicken hawks. He tripped over a fence wire, fell on his gun, and blew off his right arm, right below his shoulder. He survived, but as anyone knows anything about farming knows, there's about 27 hours of work to do each day. And being that Ralph was right-handed with no right arm, that was a problem for him and his farm. Fortunately, he had one son named Eugene, who from early childhood was then tasked with getting most of those 27 hours of work done each day. When Gene Strome became a young adult, armed with a work ethic that only the only son of a one-armed farmer could have, he struck out on his own to create an entrepreneurial venture in western New York, a small dairy farm. As luck may have it, he had one son. To carry on the tradition of working before the sun came up till it was dark out every day. My father worked more than anybody I've ever known in my life. Finally, dying milking a cow at 56 years old. He expected of me what his father expected of him. So that was my life until about the age of 17. On my farm, there was always way too much work to do and not enough time to do it, and certainly not enough time to worry about homework and that kind of nonsense. So when I was going into my senior year, my guidance counselor called me in. He says, "What do you want to do with your life?" And I said, I don't really know. It's hard working on that farm. He said, "You want to go to college?" And I said, "Okay, sure." So he looks at my transcript and he said, "I think this D in English may inhibit your writing career, but you did okay in math, so why don't you be an engineer?" And I said, "That sounds good." So he gave me a list of local colleges, and he said, "These are some you can go to." And I was just visited by somebody in this college in Virginia, and he hands me a brochure. And I looked at it, and I took it home, and I looked at it again, and I said, "God, it looks a lot warmer down there," because this was the winter time in western New York. So I started thinking about myself, viewing myself of going to school in the South where it was warmer, and leaving the farm. And I never knew this until about 10 years ago. But shortly after ODU received my application, I believe my guidance counselor got a call from the admissions office and said, I'm sure the person there said, "We really appreciate you sending us an application. We really appreciate that, but come on." This transcript is really unacceptable. At the time, my mother worked in the high school cafeteria, and the guidance counselor, who my mother knew, came in and said, "Looks like there's a rejection coming for your son to school." So my mother went home. Again, I didn't know any of this. My mother went home and told my father, who was a shy, introverted workaholic, and completely out of character, picked up the phone and called the ODU admissions office. And he said, "Give my son a chance." And on the other end of that phone was my ODU angel, because somehow he or she changed the rejection letter to a probationary acceptance letter. That was the moment that a very unremarkable person was given an opportunity at ODU. And why this very unremarkable person is standing up here today, giving birth to the Strome School. You see, ODU took a chance on me. When I got to ODU, I found out that the admissions department's initial decision was correct to reject me. But also, my father was right. I was completely unprepared for college, but in my back pocket, I had my work ethic, which allowed me to power through academically. I had no great intellect. It was a desperate fear of failure and my work ethic that saved me. I have come to understand that I suffer for something called the imposter syndrome, or I've heard it explained, the insecure overachiever. You see, inside, I'm still that unremarkable boy who was raised in unremarkable surroundings. And when you're given an opportunity like I was, and you're around your peers, you feel like an imposter. So you do everything you can to keep from being found out. So you do whatever you can to overachieve among your peers. That fear, coupled with a work ethic, is a very, very powerful combination. I believe that I am accurate when I say that I am unremarkable. I want to be an inspiration to the sea of unremarkable people out there who come from unremarkable beginnings and are insecure about their place in the world. The message that I want to leave is all it really takes is hard work to be remarkable. Yesterday, I ran into a young man named John Royal. from Blairs, Virginia. And he said, you know, I come from a very small place, you never heard of it. It's 1,500 people. He said, people don't even use social media there. So I listened to him, and he said, his friend was there, and he said, yeah, he just got a computer. So John is the kind of guy that I want to connect with, because he was like me at the time, and now he's going through the process. So my hope is that if the Strome School stands for anything, it stands for taking truly unremarkable people and giving them the inspiration and a few tools so they have a shot at becoming remarkable leaders. Einstein once said, logic will get you from point A to B. Inspiration will get you everywhere. ODU educated me as an engineer, but my life experiences have created an entrepreneur. I want every engineering student, every nursing student, every music student, every students of all sort, including our business students, to have the ability, while at ODU, to be exposed to an entrepreneurial perspective so that here at the Strome School, we can create remarkable leaders. My wife Tammy and I thank you, everybody at ODU, for what you've done and what you're going to do to make the Strome School come alive. Thank you.